The fall. I used to think the only way to fail in life was to not try hard enough. That was before I watched everything I built crash and burn in under 2 weeks. I wasn't always a dishwasher. 3 years ago, I was the CEO of a startup with a valuation hovering near 80 million. The kind of number that makes your voice drop half an octave and your friends treat you like you've got stock tips tattooed on your skin. We were based in Palo Alto, right near the university. Clean office, espresso on tap, glass walls, all the typical startup candy. Our app, Memoir, was like if Notion and TikTok had a baby that wanted to reinvent journaling for the Gen Z attention span. Dumb as hell when I say it out loud now, but back then people threw money at us. And I had him. Tyler. My co-founder. My best friend since sophomore year. We built this thing in dorm rooms and stayed up coding till 3 a.m. while everyone else was chasing girls or tequila shots. I trusted him more than anyone. He was the guy. The kind you'd let babysit your dog, your secrets, maybe even your wife if you weren't so damn paranoid. Spoiler alert, you should always be a little paranoid. It unraveled fast. One Monday morning I walked into the office, iced coffee in hand, feeling like a king. By Friday, I was ousted from my own company. Turns out Tyler had been meeting with investors behind my back, spinning this narrative that I was mismanaging funds, that I had mental health issues, that I was erratic. He had data I didn't even know he was collecting. Slack messages, receipts taken out of context, cherry-picked code commits. When the board voted, it wasn't even close. 5-2 just like that, I was out. They escorted me out like I was some kind of criminal. No time to explain. No chance to fight back. I didn't even go home that night. I drove to Half Moon Bay, sat on the beach, and just stared at the waves until the sun came up. The world doesn't fall apart all at once. It peels away, like paint on a neglected house. First, the money goes, bank accounts frozen pending legal stuff. Then the apartment rent was being paid through the company. The Tesla was leased. The credit cards were maxed out within weeks. And then there was Lena. My wife. We'd been together for 6 years. She stood by me through the ramen years, the startup grind, the nights I came home smelling like coffee and failure. But success did something to us. It made me louder. More distracted. I forgot her birthday one year. Not because I didn't care, just because I was pitching to VCS at 10 p.m. in New York. Still, she hung in there until I had nothing. One night, she came home from her yoga class, sat across from me at the kitchen table, and said, "I love you, but I can't do this. I need more than this emptiness." She walked out with her suitcase and never looked back. So yeah. From CEO to couch surfing to full-blown broke in under 90 days. I ended up in San Diego, crashing on my cousin's futon. He worked nights at a Chinese restaurant. Got me a gig in the back. Nothing glamorous. Rinsing plates, sweeping floors, hauling trash. You want to know what humility tastes like? It's lukewarm dishwater and the stale scent of orange chicken under your fingernails. But that's where I met her. Part 2, the girl who didn't flinch. Her name was Maya. She wasn't the kind of woman who turned heads the second she walked in a room. She was the kind who grew on you like a song you didn't get the first time, but suddenly find yourself humming at 2 a.m. She was the restaurant's waitress / everything. Short dark hair, always tied up. Wore those beat-up Converse that made no sense with her floral aprons. And she never smiled unless she meant it. I liked that about her. The first time we talked was over a broken coffee machine. I was cursing at it. She handed me a screwdriver and said, yelling at it, "1T help. You've gotta be gentle." And somehow, that sentence applied to more than just coffee machines. Maya didn't care about my past. She didn't care that I used to fly first class or had a blue checkmark on Twitter. She cared that I showed up on time, kept my station clean, and never acted like I was too good to scrub the damn grease trap. We started having lunch together, nothing fancy, just leftover dumplings in the alley out back. She told me about her art she painted on recycled wood panels. She was saving up to open a tiny gallery someday. I told her about the company I lost, but not in a self-pitying way. She never pitied me. She saw me. Not the version of me that made headlines or wore tailored suits, the real me, stripped down, ashamed, and slowly learning how to breathe again. One night, after a double shift, we sat on the curb outside and she said, "You don't belong here, you know." I shrugged. I lost the right to belong anywhere. "No," she said, looking at me, really looking. "You just forgot what it feels like to fight for something that matters." That night, I didn't sleep. And the next morning, I opened my laptop, the one thing I held onto through all of it, and started typing. Not code. Not business plans. Just words. My story. The rise, the fall, the wreckage, and the girl with paint-stained fingers who reminded me I was still breathing. Part 3, The Rise That Mattered. I published the story on Medium. No agenda. No pitch. Just truth. It blew up. People love a good fall from grace story, but they love a comeback more. Somehow, that raw honesty hit a nerve. Former investors reached out not with money, but with apologies. One of them offered to help me build something again, no strings attached. But I wasn't chasing unicorns this time. Instead, Maya and I did something small. We opened a cafe/art gallery. She painted the walls. I handled the books. We called it Second Draft because sometimes, life gives you one. It started slow, like all good things do. But word spread. People came not just for the coffee, but for the vibe. Honest. Imperfect. Real. And Maya, she stayed. Through the late nights and burnt toast and days when I still doubted everything. She stayed. Now, every morning, I unlock the door to our little shop, smell the beans roasting, and watch the sun hit the window just right.